Nobody. I don't care who it is. This is a brotherhood. And if we stand strong together, we can't be denied. If one of us go down, we have another, and another, and another that's ready to fight. So let's hit this field and bang them, bang them, bang them. Somebody light me up.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Welcome to another edition of Chalk Talk with your host, me, JB. I have a familiar face, Vernon Craig Hunter, Jefferson High School. How you
How you
doing?
doing?
Ranked fourth in the state.
Yeah.
Tell me, Coach, tell me about the journey this year. We talked last week. You guys start off 0-4, and now you're sitting. And explain to the people that don't know how the ratings work to where I see you're 5-4, somebody's 7-3, and you're ranked ahead of them.
Well, you get points for whoever you play. So if you play a quad A school, which is determined a quad A school, you get 14 points for each quad A school you play. Then for each win that team has, you get a bonus point. Now the kicker on top of that is now they have a strength of schedule component. So for each team that you've lost to, if their record is good, you get bonus points for that team too. So it's a strength of schedule component. So get everybody to try to play top-notch teams.
Yeah, when we talked a couple weeks ago, and you was like, "Man, if we win out, we get a fourth seed." I didn't think it was possible, but now knowing the strength of schedule, it makes a lot of sense because your schedule was a gauntlet. Talk about the first 4 weeks, knowing that you just have to, face that schedule, and keep the kids, consistent. That later on that it'll work off and pay off.
You start off with last year's runner-up in the state championship, West Virginia State Championship. Then you come back second week and you play right now, who's number one team in the state in Morgantown. Then you play Sharando, who was last year in the semifinals in Virginia. And then you get a bye week and then you play Martinsburg, who was last year's West Virginia State champions. So, those 4 games were a gauntlet all while we were trying to find our way offensively. So, I mean, those were some tough things to try to deal with in the beginning of the season. So, eventually we found our niche. We found where we need to go and how we need to do things and how we need to operate offensively. And from that point on, it kind of just took off for us.
Well, I think you found your niche when you made that quarterback change, and gosh, has he been playing his what off. Talk to me about his confidence that he brings to practice. We see him in games. Is he the same type of kid in practice that is feisty, making plays, or what is his personality like?
In practice, he's kind of laid back, nonchalant. But I guess when the bright lights come on, he doesn't false when the bright lights come on. So he's the type of kid that can also kind of like drive a coach crazy at times.
Yeah.
But he always comes through when you need to come through. He's very competitive. He gets down on himself when he makes mistakes. So that's just the way he is. He's very, very, very competitive. He doesn't think he can't do anything.
It looks like
it. So there's nothing out there he don't think he can't do. So to watch some of the things that he's done and watch some of the Houdini acts that he's pulled off, getting out of pressure and keeping his eyes downfield and finding people open downfield, has been some incredible things.
We call him gamers. He seems like he's just a gamer. Then the lights come on and he turns it on. As a coach, it's so good to have, especially at the quarterback play. I want to talk to you about Tony Allen and the courage that he showed last week. He looked like he was on one leg. Still found the end zone. What's his mindset? What does he look like this week coming into, I say, a big game? It's your crosstown rival, Washington. You play them every year. They know each other. So what's his mindset going into this game?
Tony got injured against GW right after the half. It was it's like a kind of like a hip drop tackle.
Yeah.
It got dropped on his ankle. wound up being a high ankle sprain, which we know how long they take to heal. But also with the high ankle sprain, it kind of connected a little bit and got his Achilles too.
Yeah.
So he's dealing with the ankle sprain and Achilles sprain. Um, so the kid in the 13 years he's played football, he's never been hurt or injured like that. So
Yeah.
he's always been able to bounce back. So he's never had to actually go into the training room and put in work. So just trying to get him and trying to force him to do that was like sometimes pulling teeth a little bit.
Yeah.
But once we got him to start doing it and getting it done, he's getting better. I'd say last week he was probably about it 55, 60%. Because there was times he could run. There was times as the night got colder.
Yeah.
And he couldn't do as much. So he came and asked me to go in. And I said, "Can you run?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "If you look like you're going to hurt the team, we'll pull you." So a couple times, he got out there and ran. He got across the field, got the touchdown. But then as the game got later in the game, I could see you're not even really running your routes. You're hurting us. You can't even be a decoy out there because you're not really running anything. So then I pulled him out. I pulled him out the game and told him, just take it easy. We'll try to get this one for you. Just try to get healthy. So
is he playing this week?
I would say this week he's about 85% this week. He's got enough that he can still get by people. His 80,
well,
85%.
Craig, that ain't hard.
I mean, his 80, 85% full speed is
he
is
is lightning in the bottle.
So, he's getting better each week. We'll probably do the same thing, get him warmed up, let him go out there, see what he can do. If he starts to look like he's detrimental or anything else, further down the road is going to be way more important as we keep going these playoffs. So if we need to get him out, we'll get him out and try to get him again, come back the first week of the playoffs and get him even closer to that 100% mark. But, I mean, we're not going to do it. I'm not going to put him out there in a situation that's going to be detrimental to him or detrimental to the team, especially with us going forward in the road we've been on.
Yeah, well, in the last couple of years, you're 35-13. You've been to the playoffs 4 straight years. So you're in familiar territory. It looks like you may be playing Washington 2 weeks in a row. So let's just talk about your crosstown rivals and how do the kids feel about playing? Some of the kids that they grew up with, some of the kids that are probably still best friends. What's the vibe like playing Washington this week versus anybody else?
I mean, you hear the kids rumble. The kids have rumbling sayings and think what they say they want to try to do and how they want to try to win. I try to tell them, let's take it as business like normal. I mean, we're trying to go here, win this game, solidify our playoff spot, and get into the next week. How we can get that done, let's get that done. Let's get that done. Let's get that done and get in and out without getting anybody injured, anything happening, not losing anybody. Cross-county rivals, you don't want anything to happen as far as unsportsmanlike fights or anything like that to happen to get somebody kicked out of the game. So we want to get in this game, try our best to get a victory and get out of this game.
Well, I was going to, and ask, in all sports, there's trap games. But I don't see Washington being a trap game because it's a rivalry. I think they're going to be ready. But just in case, what is your message to them not to overlook, the record, the history, and to know that we got one game this week and we got to get it done?
I mean, as it's still, we got one game to get done. We got to get it done. You can't overlook anybody. If you do, then you're going to get yourself in a situation and you're going to be in trouble. The thing we got this week is we don't know what's going to happen. We hear rumors that people are hurt from their team. Things are going down. So we just got to play the game the way it's got to be played and just execute. If we execute, I think we'll put ourselves in a position to win the game.
Well, I mean, I know you very well. I don't think a lot of people know that you were an offensive coordinator at Washington High School when the school first started. So what is it like? You've been on both sides of the fence. The kid 6'7". What is it like, leaving Washington to go back to Jefferson and just being, on both sides of the fence at some point in this rival?
The Washington thing was an opportunity for me to try to grow. I've been at Jefferson here for ever and a day, pretty much going on 10 years as pretty much a JV coach. So it's an opportunity for me just to be straight varsity level, to grow, learn more, and position myself in the position that I am now as a head coach. So then I went there for that, and I came back to Jefferson when my son was coming to Jefferson. So I wanted to be here full time when my son started Jefferson High School. So I went over and came back at that point in time. So I mean, it's being on both sides of the fence. It's a little different because when I was at Washington, we were just starting a whole new school, whole new program. So it was rough. It was rough treading. You have a team that had no seniors on it, few juniors, a lot of freshmen and sophomores. They're very young. So it's trying to keep them kids going, trying to keep them, motivated when they're taking a beating every week. It's tough.
So, you mentioned you've been at Jefferson a while. You've been through the Kirbys, you've been through the Tuckers, and then I think Mills, and then you. What does it mean to you to be the head coach at Jefferson High School? Football, we know you're the track coach, but what does it mean to you to finally be the coach at Jefferson High School, the head coach, and to have the level of success you had? I think you're the most winningest coach in Jefferson High history. So what does that mean to you?
Just the fact that, being a graduate of Jefferson High School and having the pride that I have for Jefferson, the love I have for Jefferson, I kind of bleed maroon and gold. So having that and being here and trying to have these kids have success, it means the world to me. I've had I've been through all those coaches as you talked about, and each one of those coaches I've taken something with me from them. I've learned from all of them. Probably the biggest one I probably learned from that was the one I was around the most, which was Coach Kirby. I learned the most from him.
Curb.
I learned the most from him. I learned from Hash. I learned a little bit from Tucker in the 1 year he was here. And I learned from Richie. I learned some things from Richie, how to do things with Richie, Coach Mills. So learning all those things from all those different coaches, different philosophies, different styles of how they do things. You just kind of take it, mash it all together, and develop your own philosophies, your own how you want to do things. So, and I still have a few of them I can still call today. If I need something from them, if I want to ask them something, they're always willing to pick up the phone and answer the phone call and give me advice.
You got Washington. The offense is, spurted a little bit. Let's talk about your defensive coordinator. It's his first year. He's done an amazing job. I've seen you guys, come out in games and team's first drive and they look like, oh man, Jefferson's going to be in for a long night. How well does he make adjustments in the game being his first year defense coordinator that keeps you guys successful and to stay in games throughout this year?
He does a good job of making adjustments and in-game adjustments at halftime. It's hard to make a lot of in-game adjustments because we have a lot of kids that don't come off the field.
Yeah.
So, it's hard to make those in-game adjustments. So when we get a chance at halftime, it's important for us to be in tune, ready to go. He really technically don't need any help, but sometimes I've been on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
So if I see some things, I can get on the headset and they tell him what I see also. He typically don't need a lot of help, but if I see things, I can give him what I see to give different viewpoint. He's a graduate of Jefferson, so he has a love and pride for Jefferson High School too. He actually played for me, played for you when we were here at Jefferson High School. And he went on to college and learned some different things and learned some different philosophies and brought some of that stuff back here. So, I think he's done a great job. He's a younger guy who brings, like I said, he brings a lot of energy. Like I said before, sometimes getting up there in age, you can't bring your energy all the time.
Yeah,
it's hard. I don't bring the energy like I used to back when you were playing. So, so they get younger coaches on here who have the energy and they can do that kind of thing that when I'm a little older, can't jump up and around. If I jump up and down, you never know what I might pull. So
yes, sit down. It's amazing, man. It's been 20 years since I played at Jefferson and you were there. And that's why I wanted to ask, just what it meant to you being there because we've seen the good days, the bad days, but you're on the top of the hill now and you're growing. We wish you the best of luck against your crosstown rivals here at Home Team Sports. We love having you on here, and it looks like we're going to have you on here for a couple more weeks. I plan to see you in the third week of the playoffs this year. We're going to get over that hump. But we know, that just comes with being who you are, We say here at Home Team Sports, we like to see you succeed both on and off the field. Coach, we wish you the best of luck, healthy travels, and a good game, and I'll see you next week.
All right, thank you. See you.
Thank you.